Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Monday, the 11th of August. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some volume being learned from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals, right? This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com and is published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, okay, in terms of, obviously we saw SPX and Qs break over the daily middle band. We actually seen a retest of the all-time high on Qs. We haven't quite made it on NQ, but I'm expecting to see that soon. And I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to see that on SPX as well. Now, ES, we've got a potential little level top here, which I'm watching, and we do have a 60-minute sell signal fixed. We've still got an open 60-minute sell signal on NQ, nothing on RTY, nothing on YM, nothing on DAX, but we've also got a 60-minute sell signal which is fixed on ESTX. I am thinking we might see a bit of retracement here, and I'm seeing the same on crypto. So I'm thinking we might see a modest retrace today and then likely continue higher. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. And all right, hang on, wait a second. I'm just going to open up the in the background. I'm just going to open up the metals charts because I'm going to be looking at those later. All right. Okay, looking at the bigger picture charts. The interesting thing is here that we've actually seen significant breaks over the daily middle bands on ES, SPX, the Qs, but it's basically just those two indices. We haven't seen breaks over the daily middle band on DIA, and we haven't seen them on IWM either. Those are still holding as resistance. I am wondering if we might actually continue on and get the high retests on SPX and Qs without seeing the break over the daily middle band, in which case it's possible that, well, that would increase the odds that we could see a fail there. Nothing really on the hourly charts to speak of, getting pretty close to a retest of the all-time high on SPX. We've got a couple of weak RSI 14 sell signals suggesting a bit of downside, which I think we're getting confirmation elsewhere, so I think we may well see some a little bit of a pullback today. Looking at the Qs, we've actually saw a new all-time high marginally, but the previous all-time high was 574.63, and we actually got as high as 547.77, so we just made that. We made it on NDX as well, but we haven't made it on the Qs yet. Nothing on the hourly chart to mention. We got obviously a potential level top setup here, and we've got some very weak divergence on the hourly. 15-minute, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal, which for some reason I haven't marked the text for that, but it's still there. And you can see that's the full retest of that high. All right, looking at Dow. Dow is obviously holding the daily middle band as resistance. Nothing on the hourly really. We do have this double top, which is broken down with a target in the in the 44 area. Not seeing an awful lot suggest that's going to play out soon, but double tops don't have a fail area, so if we don't make any progress, SPX and Qs retest their highs, I'll be wondering if this will reverse and then make that target. No divergence on the 15-minute. We've got a potential little channel here, which I'm watching with interest. If so, we'd move straight up. I'm thinking if we see some retracement today, however, that may break. All right, let's have a look at IWM. And IWM, new weekly pivots across the board, obviously. I assume you got the pivots that went out yesterday. We've still got weak RSI 14 sell signals fixed on IWM and DIA, and we're obviously still holding the daily middle band. Nothing on the hourly worth a mention, apart from obviously we've got a double top that's broken down there too. In terms of the two resistance levels I was looking at, the 50 DMA and the 200 DMA, it's now over the 50 DMA, but mainly it's the 50 DMA which is broken below IWM rather than the opposite. It's still holding the 200 DMA as resistance. On the 15-minute chart, no current divergence. I drew in, this is just a penciled in potential bull flag here, which I'm wondering about. All right, DAX, getting pretty close to a retest of our all-time high here, and I'm thinking we'll probably see that. Nikkei, we're getting pretty close to a retest of the, I think this is the all-time high actually. Yeah, 42.4K. I'm thinking that may well get a retest as well in the next few days as SPX and the Qs retest their highs, and obviously we've been seeing a pretty decent rally here. All right, let's have a look at DX. DX, we've still got a head and shoulder target, which is down in the 96.8 area. And I'm still thinking that may well make a target. This looks like a bearish consolidation so far, and really that's backed up on most of the others. So we will see how that goes. So it does look like USD JPY and USD CAD, which are positively correlated. USD CAD, not so sure about. USD JPY looks like a bear flag forming. We will see. All right, let's have a look at bonds. ZB, this looks like a bullish consolidation setting up a high retest. I'm thinking that might be a larger high and go lower afterwards. On ZN, we've got, again, obvious next target would be the wedge support down in the 110 22 area, but we could see a high retest first, set up a double top, and then take us down on that. All right, looking at CL. CL obviously is seeing a bit of a rally here. Obviously, it's come down $9 from this high here, and that's mainly because Trump persuaded the Saudis to increase production and lower oil prices. I think that's not a bad idea, and I was talking about this in more length on the bigger picture yesterday, so have a look at that if you're wondering what my thoughts are here. But I think overall we've got a bullish looking setup on oil, but I'm thinking we may well go down into the mid to low 50s to complete the sequence before that starts breaking up. But overall on CL, HO and RBOB, short term it looks bearish. Bigger picture, we might get a really nice buy opportunity that may actually last for a year or two when we get down to the mid-50s, if we get down to the mid-50s. NG, it turned out to be a bear flag which had broken down towards a retest of the low. We've seen that low retest. I would note I've got targets down in about, I've got a target down in about the 2.65 area I would like to see hit. But I would note that we've got our daily RSI 5 buy signal fixed here, and we've got a nice looking potential level bottom. If we were to see a break up over 3.15, then this would get us pretty close. Well, it would get us up into the 340 to 345 area. And that is a doable rally, I think, even if it's got more downside to come afterwards. GC, we have been retracing. Now, I did work out what this strange spike, which looked as though it was making a new all-time high, was. This was actually Trump imposing tariffs on gold, which was an odd decision, but I think he did that to relatively promote crypto. So it was an odd thing, but obviously that's actually set up a divergence between the spot price and the futures price. So the spot price didn't actually move much, so we haven't retested the all-time high, and we're not really any closer than we were to doing so. This is just basically still trading sideways. SI seeing a little pullback here. I am thinking now in terms of well, let's have a quick look through the futures first. But Palladium almost made the head and shoulder target. Platinum had made the head and shoulder target, obviously, but this looks like a bear flag, which is breaking down towards a retest of the low. HG maybe topping out within the bear flag here, which has been a very, very small bear flag. But week 6 minute sell signal fixed. I'm leaning towards seeing a little more downside short term, but bigger picture, we are still owed a high retest. Now, we don't necessarily have to have it. We usually did. We usually would, and I'm expecting to. This looks like a bullish consolidation. We're still in the 3,400 area. We just need to get to the 3,500 area. I'm thinking we pull back a little more. We likely hold the daily middle band in the 33-55 area, and then we likely go get it. Ideally, at the same time, we would see a retest of the high on silver. We set up some nice weekly negative divergence, and we would set up potentially a larger top on gold, which could lead to a consolidation which could last a few months. So I am wondering about that, and I'm also wondering about the fact that on gold, if we do see a retest of the high, of course, that would set up a potential level top here, which on a sustained break below 3120 would have a target which would be in about the 2740 area. We could see that, although that does seem a bit of a stretch. But as a retracement of this move up here, that wouldn't be a bad retracement. I'm wondering if we're setting up for that. Looking at Palladium on the bigger picture, I'm wondering if this is a bear flag setting up the low. On platinum, on the bigger picture, we have hit some significant resistance, and this wouldn't be a bad time to see a retracement here. And on copper, we hit this very nice trend line here. I'm expecting to see a test of this trend line here. Now, do we have an overall trend line here? Not really. We didn't quite make it, but we did make this one and set up a perfect trend line there. I'm expecting to see a retest of this low here in the 3.9 area, and I'm thinking, obviously, that it could go lower, but without really having a strong target for that move. We shall see. All right. Okay, let's have a look at the other commodities. KC, this still looks like a bad flag for me. and I'm wondering if it might be topping out, but we lost negative divergence overnight. Looking at SB, SB, the IHS didn't work out. It never broke up, so I'm leaning bigger picture towards seeing a retest of this low here in the 15.35 area. CC, I rolled this into December, and suddenly the whole pattern setup clarified. This is an IHS, which is broken up with the target in about the 89.50 to 9,000 area. Looking at CT, CT, we've got a potential double bottom here. I would love to see a decent move up, and this is a nice looking double bottom. We'll see whether we get it. But 60-minute buy signal has reached the possible near miss target. Lumber, I'm thinking we might be making a significant high here, so I think we've reached a potential head and shoulder neckline. I am wondering bit of positive divergence here, possible small double bottom here. I'm wondering about a bounce to make a right shoulder. Ideal right shoulder high would be in the 675 area. ZW, possible IHS forming, corn, a little bit of a rally, break over this declining resistance, not necessarily particularly significant, but could be bottoming out. Soy, I've got targets very, very clearly below. We do have this falling wedge though, and it's not a bad one. We haven't made it to resistance. Really needs another test of resistance to confirm, as it's not 3 touches, but really it's not bad. I'm thinking this may well deliver. So we will see how that goes. Soybean oil, we broke down with a target, double top broke down with a target down here in about the 52.2 area. We pretty much made that target. So could find some support here. Live cattle, possible double top forming here, and lean hogs, I'm wondering about a bear flag forming here. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. Yeah, the spike was on the future. But that was down to the tariffs. It didn't really move on the spot, which was confusing me till I found out about the tariffs thing. But that must clearly be the difference. So we're still owed a retest of that all-time high, and I'm expecting to see that happen before we see a possible larger retracement. Short term, I'm thinking a little downside here. After that, I'd really like to see a retest of the high, which we've been waiting quite a while for. We shall see. But I would note that if we were, hang on, wait a second. If this was to evolve into a larger flag, A, B, C, potentially we could get down to about, let's say, the 3,050 area. In fact, I'd have a trend line going through slightly below that. I'm not really expecting that to happen, but I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. Really, we're owed the retest of 3,500. I'm not expecting to have to wait too much longer for it. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap, guys. Take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.